All right, so we're back for the second video that will cover just a little bit of information for APA formatting, since that is the style you'll be using for both of your assignments. The good news is you don't have to memorize everything. There's lots of places you can go to look up this information and just to get additional help. So one of the places is the library homepage. That's where we access the databases, if you'll remember. And if you just scroll down, we have a Citing Your Sources link, and then we have an APA guide that the librarians have developed in the past. And these tabs for navigation will be really helpful. We have information on how to format your papers with lots of screenshots and information for double spacing and all those requirements. We have information on in-text citations, so lots of examples of common types of sources you'll use, and then also some examples of those reference entries for your reference page. So that's just one space to check out. I also recommend looking at some citation manuals. If you're interested, you may have purchased one for another course. We do have some on reserve behind the circulation desk that you can use for library usage only, like you can't leave the library with that. And then we should have some downstairs in the stacks for checkout that you can use for an extended period of time. I also recommend the Purdue OWL website. So if you just Google MLA Purdue, I'm sorry, APA Purdue OWL rather, they have an MLA as well. You can access this information. So their style guide is really helpful. You'll want to navigate on the left, I guess, depending on the type of source you're using. And since we're using a lot of electronic sources, as far as databases go, as far as websites and such are concerned. So you would just go to that style guide and you would click on electronic sources, and then you would find the formula that would go along with the type of source you're using. And that's how you could double check those database sites and that sort of thing. All right, you can also ask me. That is something a librarian does. Like I mentioned, I am embedded in your class list, and helping with citations is one of the services we offer. So just some basics to refresh your memory. You will have in-text citations in your PowerPoint presentation. Those appear, of course, in the body of the assignment, and they do have to match the reference entry. So whatever you use as far as the author and date goes has to correspond with what you put on your reference page. Citations for your presentations, you will treat those just like you would a paper. So if you recall those days of doing a research paper, anything you cite or paraphrase, any images or videos you use have to have those citations. The last page of your presentation or paper contains all the sources that you cited, so that's your reference page for APA. And so you'll just have that list in that certain format for all the sources that you use throughout your presentation. And be careful to double check the punctuation and the grammar, if you will, especially in those databases, because sometimes you'll have to just like edit some of the information that's there. And I do still have, if I can get this pulled up, our Word document that we sort of started during our first video. And these are the 3 citations that I got from the databases that were generated for me. And just to give you an example, the title of this first one from Teaching Exceptional Children, I would have to edit that because in APA formatting, the title starts with a capital letter, and only anything that comes after like a colon here or anything that's a proper noun would be capitalized. So I'd have to put all of that in lowercase except for the S in structured and the U in understanding. But my journal article, the journal rather it came from is italicized, the volume is, my issue is not. Then I have my page range, and then my digital object identifier, or my DUI, is the link that the database provides. And do note in APA, there is no punctuation at the end of that, so we won't put a period there, but we would for this ebook citation. So I'd have to look up the formula for this. I would need to alter how the names are written because it should always be last name first and middle initial. So that would have to be edited. There's the date, the title of the work, and so forth. So that's done correctly except for that author. So that's what I mean by just be really careful and mindful. Be sure to double check those citations that you get from the databases. Here is the reference page entry for a journal article with a DOI, and I just got that information from the Purdue OWL site, or it's also the same in that manual. And so just give you an example, last name, first, middle initial, date of publication, the year, right? Then for this, the title of the article is italicized, written in lowercase, except for the I in inclusive and the L in language. We have teaching exceptional children italicized and so forth. So just sort of copying that. And I guess, actually, maybe that isn't italicized. It just looked like it at first glance. So I hope you were paying attention. That was a test. No, this should not be. But it is written in lowercase, and then our journal is italicized. And then for our YouTube video or streaming video, here's the formula we would use for that. And so we would just, again, plug in like you're using the other formula. So we have the last name and first, middle initial, username, year, month, and date, title of video. And we have to say that it's a video, and then the streaming service, which would be YouTube in this case, and then there's the URL for that. So pretty simple. Just follow that information. And this is just what a reference entry would look like for a website. And then I have what my parenthetical citation would look like and my narrative citation. So this is indeed italicized for the title of a web page or web content. I got it from Education Week, and then there's my URL. Now, the reason there's two different types of in-text citations listed is because a parenthetical citation follows what you're quoting or paraphrasing. So I'd have Ferlazzo, 2020 in parentheses at the end of what I'm saying from that source, and that would end with a period. But a narrative citation is whenever you weave what you're saying, that source, into your sentence. So according to Ferlazzo 2022, and then that could be a direct quote or me paraphrasing. So that's just different examples of those two types of in-text citations. This is a link, and I think that Ms. Hayes has this presentation sent to her, so you can click on this if you want to, but these are just two really good examples that other institutions have created for how to format presentations using APA. So Purdue University Global has a really good presentation they've done, and then Northwest Arkansas Community College also. So I just wanted to include a couple extra resources for that. And lastly, here's my contact information. Like I said, I am embedded in your eLearn class list. It's S.R. Moreland, labeled as a research coach. And that's probably the quickest way and most common way that students get in touch with librarians. But there's my email address as well. My office number is on the home page that I showed you earlier. And I'm here to help you with any research questions you may have. If you have trouble choosing terms for those databases or which database to use, finding and evaluating sources online, and again, those citations. So I hope both the videos have been helpful. And again, just feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions. Thank you.